For my MAGA friends, go ahead and just save yourself some time, swipe up. For everybody else who is of any other political denomination or even agnostic, we have some important news actually happening in the country today that the news doesn't always do a good job of talking about. One of those things is, of course, we did get the Democrats, 8 Democrats joined Republicans for the Senate to vote to reopen the government, which part of that upsets me. We'll talk about that in a second. We may soon be having movement on the release of what are supposed to be some really awful, nasty Epstein files. And I think I know why Republicans don't care about their base, why they keep doing things. So, first of all, 8 Democrats voted with Republicans in the Senate to go ahead and move the legislation to reopen government to the House, where maybe it'll pass. I don't know. I know why. I get it. We don't like cruelty. We don't like the fact that federal employees are working without pay. We don't like the fact that air traffic controllers are starting to more or less go on strike right before the holidays. There's a lot of pain associated with this, and Democrats are very empathetic towards that, and that's why these 8 Democrats decided to break with their party. But the rest of the party still understands there are bigger things at stake, and that's why I'm a little miffed myself that Democrats caved, even though it was a small number, but this is what they do. The other thing, so if this passes, it means that, and if MAGA Mike will actually convene the House of Representatives and open the government, which I don't think is a sure thing either, it means that he will be forced to swear in, or he will have run out of this latest excuse for not swearing in Adelita Grijalva, who would be the 218th vote on the Epstein discharge petition, which would mean that the House has to vote on whether or not to release the Epstein files. And there are quite a few Republicans who are really anxious to vote to release the Epstein files, including Marjorie Taylor Greene, of all people, seems to be sane now, at least briefly. So will MAGA Mike allow that? And will a lot of Republicans want to go on record as not wanting to release the files that, how involved was Trump with that? I don't like to speculate. I'd rather see the evidence. And finally, I've been trying to figure out, and I've heard a lot of talk show hosts and podcasters asking this question and talking amongst themselves, and they seem to be missing the point. Why are Republicans passing things and doing things that hurt their own base first? The SNAP issue is a perfect example. Do you know that most people who get SNAP are poor white people living in red states? They're MAGA voters, like by definition. If you're poor and white, you probably voted for Trump. Okay, that's a choice. So why do they keep doing things that are going to hurt their own people first? Do they just think they're still going to vote for them? Maybe they will. I know people who get hurt by Trump policies and then continue to support him. But I think the real reason is because if you know what the Heritage Foundation put in Project 2025, I think the real reason is they're planning on not having an election next year for the midterms. They're going to call some emergency like we've done for a lot of things. This is why Trump thinks he can just put tariffs on anything he wants. He declares an emergency. This is why we're shooting up boats, invading other countries, random places. There's some sort of emergency declared. And I think that's the plan. I think the MAGA regime are thinking that they can declare some emergency. The Mad Red Hatter will go out on Fox News and Truth Social and whatever else crazy stuff he does and say a bunch of stuff, and it'll be some sort of emergency. And they won't have to worry about getting anybody to vote for them in 2018 at the midterms because there won't be elections. How do we fight that? It's by standing together. Understand this is not Democrats versus Republicans. This is not Republicans versus Green Party. It's none of that. It's none of that. It's us against the MAGA regime, which is being run by the Heritage Foundation. Trump is the puppet that goes out and says unreasonably crazy things that the media then chases instead of following the real story. We have to stay together. We have to stand against this together. We can do it. My name's Bill. I'm a college professor in Dallas, Texas. Thanks for watching.